there are all different design schools, and now engineering, especially IIT, is getting into design, and we see IITs having design schools everywhere. And I think that's a brilliant start because AI has come in. If people don't start thinking, if design thinking doesn't come in, then it's just going to be, like mass production, just be labor, just be a part of it. And we see people from different design schools. Everybody says we are a little different, and that's true because when NID was set up, uh, as Rajiv Sethi ji talked about the Eames. So Charles and Ray Eames, when they set it up, even that time, the thought process was to look at India's core design, India's values, and the whole story of the Lota, which is there for everybody to read on the internet today. So that's how they started thinking, and I think that's how NID came up, and then NIFT came up as a response to fashion needs, and then slowly different private schools came up, and today we say there are lots of design schools. But looking at the population of a country, I think we need many more design schools, and all of them, if they focus on the indigenous work that was done earlier, learn from stalwarts, people who are there right in front of us. So I think institutes have a lot to contribute because it starts with a little germ, it starts with a little thought. And the fact that we have 4 women sitting here is that someday, at some point in time, somebody thought that women should get into education, women should be educated, and here is the result. So I think this is how now we are working for crafts. We are moving in that area. So with this, I would like the panel, and please feel free to pitch in because we are so many of us and I might not be able to direct a question to each person. So my question is, of course, we look at faculty and institutes as kumhars who mold and shape the young minds. So what do you think should be the way forward? How can institutes contribute more in bringing back the languishing crafts or the culture that was, and also to understand the meaning of khadi as it was like an economic movement at that time? How do we see it today? So with a very simple question, I begin the panel discussion because we have paucity of time and too many members, but I would want to hear everybody's views on what do you think institutes should contribute towards in the thought process. How do we make ourselves stronger in terms of design, in terms of crafts, in terms of craftsmanship? The question is open to the house, and whoever would like to answer, I can pass on the mic.
Actually, when we are talking about craft sector, whether we talk about revival of crafts or we talk about sustaining the existing crafts and taking them to the next level, it is all about taking that whole group and the family ahead and their next generation ahead. So when we talk about revival of craft or sustaining the crafts and taking them ahead, it is about taking that whole group of artisans who work on that craft and all the stakeholders involved with that craft and the future generations to be taking ahead. So where we have seen that some of the crafts have become extinct because either they didn't have the market or the young generation in the society was not ready to take it ahead because they did not see the future in that, and there were many other aspects. So there, as we understand that academia has to look at the multidisciplinary education to the students so that they can address these issues of the craft clusters as to what is the design required by the today's people, today's society, from where do they source the material, the supply chain, the technology to design and the technology to manufacture and to take it ahead, branding, marketing, and to understand the social aspect of it. Because it's the whole social aspect that has to be looked into. So, our national education policy also is now saying that the universities should bring multidisciplinary education and single stream education institutions should become multidisciplinary institutions. And that is what we have to work towards. I'll give you an example that in our institute we have textile and apparel design discipline. But recently we had a webinar for our students to understand the settlement clusters in Chanderi and Mubarakpur of the weavers. So a student who's looking at weaving should also understand how people live in those clusters and how their settlements have come up aligned with their work. And this study is done by an architect, Shaista Praveen. So, and she's teaching also architecture and doing her PhD now. And it was a very interesting, discourse to see that how the human settlements have become impacted by or designed by this. So, we have to have, and as academia, we are in the practice of looking at multiple literature, multiple documents, and assimilating that information together and comprehending it. So that is how we would be able to contribute in multidisciplinary institutions in looking at this aspect, giving that information to those clusters and the younger generation there, how they can take it ahead. So this is where we can contribute.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a very important point. Multidisciplinary. Everybody has to come together in order to take this forward. Just sharing an example that we are working with IIM Udaipur because they are good in management and we work in the area of design and crafts. So with IIM Udaipur together, we launched a craft incubator because we all think बड़े दिल से सोचते हैं, बहुत अच्छे प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, बट उनको बेचना नहीं आता, उनकी कहानी कहनी नहीं आती. So that is where IIM Udaipur has come in to help us. And together, it has been a very successful program for the last 3 years where we invite young people who are in craft businesses to understand business, to take it forward. So yes, multidisciplinary, I believe, is very, very important.
Ma'am has pointed out very interesting thing in a present context with the NAP 2020.
True.
It's a very important stress is given on the craft, art and craft. And we at the WUD have been organizing now very recently on 1920th. We are organizing a workshop for the school teachers because I believe the schools are the foundations to take whatever it may be the art or the craft to take forward. So taking forward, I also strongly believe, because it's my personal experiences, when we talk about the art and craft or the traditional art, we always want to get back to the roots. But it is a high time presently, I believe that all these crafts or the traditional art has to be institutionalized there, yes, where it doesn't remain particularly to the family oriented. Because I don't believe in a present context.
That's a very, very important point.
Families doesn't want to pursue it further because they feel it is.
So it was tacit knowledge earlier. Now we are institutionalizing it. We really wanted to be institutionalized. Yes. That's what everybody is doing. I think that's a very, very important point.
Next generation has to follow. Why can't this be a carrier for others also to look forward? So that's a really good point when I feel that way. So when Supriya ma'am asked me to be here, so I was thinking like, there'll be discussions. So how do I put it in a very smaller words so that it can be put forward? So I thought like to be the academia can be part of this craft revival. I felt like there should be 4 P's, which I say. Obviously, the academia should also be the part of the promotion. They should be like give that can be a platform. So because people come from different backgrounds from all over India, like to the different institutions. So it should be a platform where that can be promoted. And then obviously they should percolate the whole idea. The new generations, they may not have felt that things like how the craft works. That's why, as I said, our course EP works on that. Like we take them to Indian environment and especially tribal being in Northeast. So the percolation should be there to them. So it should be through different courses or different exhibitions or workshops which they can participate, attend and organize during their courses. And also they should also be informed that sustainability is also very much part of our craft. So that how we can percolate that idea, because the world is talking about sustainability now. So that percolation should be there. And then the participation of the artisans, the craftsmen and the students. Because craftsmen comes with technology, their heritage, their knowledge. Students come up with their new ideas of tangibility, new ideas of utilitarian ideas they do come up with. So how do that mix up and give it to the world, like new ideas with the traditional knowledge, traditional know-how. So that is the thing. And obviously, it should be preserved. Because if we have documentation and all those archiving like this ABCD is doing, so it gives people to see, to go through different things at a glance and to understand different things. And as if we keep on archiving, so the database will always increase, which will give us a rich knowledge of it. or the new generation will learn from that, and maybe that will inspire them when they do their design projects or when they go for their practice. They always try to get connected to the craft also with the modern design. So that's what I feel. This 4-piece can be a really good thought process.
So I think there's just so much to do. There is just so much to do. We have so many things possible around and so many ways to approach this. I think currently what we have is just a drop in the ocean, and we have to collectively make that ocean. So I believe that we are going to be doing this when we talk about new learners. We were just having a session yesterday about what does the Gen Z actually want. The Gen Z, the current generation, how are they going to become our proponents and literally our vehicles for the future? And we have to understand where they come from, right? Do they tie into this idea of craft? Do they tie into this idea of the past? Do they tie into the idea of maintaining heritage, restoration, and we have to integrate them into our processes. Their thinking into our processes. We'll never reach there till they are we take ideas from them and then maybe sort of put it together with them. So with that, I think the other idea is that sustainability, something like sustainability, and I put craft right there because at this moment it's about sustainability of craft, right? It's about the fact that crafts are dying out. It's about the fact that craft is in its current position without livelihood. And we are also propagating that it should actually move away from families, away from livelihoods that every craftsperson was dependent on through their craft. So to understand this, so it's something that needs to be as embedded as it was in the way it was. It has to be embedded in so many ways: sustainability, craft, practices. We should not be holding these conversations around the fact that let us integrate craft. It should be a given. It should be a given, and all practices, everything that we do, everything we teach, every subject we do, and that's and everything should be laden with sustainability, should be laden with craft, should be laden with people, should be laden with all the practices. If we divide ourselves, we are actually dividing the Gen Z from their future. And that's exactly, I think, what we do at UID.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for all these discussions, because as you rightly said, sustainability should be a part of our everyday culture. And I think it was. Like, when we heard Rajiv Sethi speak just now, he said, in so many languages, design का शब्द नहीं मिलता. बहुत बार मैंने सोचा फैशन का हिंदी क्या है, डिजाइन का हिंदी क्या है, नहीं मिलता. इस तरह सस्टेनेबिलिटी का भी कोई प्रॉपर हिंदी वर्ड नहीं है, क्योंकि इट वाज अ पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ, आई थिंक, बिकॉज ऑल दीज थिंग्स वर अ पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. When you design something, when we say, the name of our institute is Indian Institute of Crafts and Design, when we say that in English. But when we say that in Hindi, what do we say? Bharatiya Shilp Sansthan. Shilp contains everything in, the word Shilp contains everything in it. So similarly, as Amrita ji just mentioned, that sustainability should be a part of life. It should not be separately taught. And I think that is what we are trying to do in our daily lives. Make students aware of what is around them. And there's an excellent example of one of the students who worked with waste chicken feathers to create a new yarn. And with that yarn, he's now promoting fabrics made of that yarn. He's exporting them. Recently, he was on Shark Tank asking for funds for, continuous working with that. So similarly, lots and lots of our students are working there. Then, as we said, that why only the families should, learn that? Why not others? Why not institutionalize it? So recently, I was in, some villages of Rajasthan where UNESCO was looking at music in that way. And when I spoke to the artisans, they said, क्यों नहीं हम अपने म्यूजिक के स्कूल, आप मैडम हेल्प करिए कि हम अपने म्यूजिक का स्कूल खोलें. गुरु शिष्य परंपरा से लोग सीखते आए हैं, पर अगर उसको फॉर्मलाइज करें, फीस लें, तो शायद ज्यादा लोग आएंगे, उसको समझेंगे, उसको सीखेंगे, क्योंकि हमारे बच्चों के डीएनए में है. एंड बहुत अच्छी बात उसने बोली कि आपका बच्चा जैसे कलम उठाता है 3 साल पे, 2 साल पे, हमारा बच्चे के अंदर म्यूजिक है, लेकिन उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं करता, तो कोई उसको आगे नहीं लेके जाता. So I think here we are sitting, and it's a huge responsibility to continue to do these things. I'll pass on the mic this side for values. Yes, please.
All the points raised so far, and I'm sure the other points that will come on the other side are all going to be very important points, no doubt about it. I just have 2 or 3 things to say. One is that this exhibition that IGNC has put up, I have seen it at least 10 times. I have tried to bring my students to see it as well because we are conveniently located in Delhi. What I find very interesting is the possibility, because all these craftspeople who have put up their stuff here have innovated, number one. It's not necessarily the traditional craft that has been put up on show. And this is the main focus. So what we are trying to do at IID all along is to expose our students not just to crafts. You see, our approach is slightly different. I agree. As I said in the beginning, I took up the job here simply because I would like to promote crafts, but I want to do it in a slightly different way, right or wrong. So the way we try to do it is that we teach them right from computer-aided design, parametric design, on to the application of craft. Now, it's a trick that I play on the students, and I don't mind if the students who are sitting at the back now understand that trick because they've gone through it, which is that, as a matter of course, like in every college, we talk about the UN sustainability goals. So we put it as a challenge. How would you construct an interior or a piece of furniture or whatever else where you meet all those goals? And sooner or later, they discover that craft is the only way. So instead of prescribing it, of course, call it a craft project, but the way they are led into it, and there, I'm very grateful for the lectures that Ashok Chatterjee has put up on YouTube, various institutions who argues this case so brilliantly. And what happens, I've noticed with the people who graduated, is that several of them make the choice between, the standard commercial interior design or product design, which they know they'll be competing against God knows how many such designers, and those who see the advantage of being in that niche. So not only is it, a kind of a morally, ethically correct approach, but it's also a great way to expand your business. So because we also have a management school as a part of our institute, luckily for us, we involve them to come and explain the money side of this game, that it makes sense. And what we do further is that when the students work on a project, which could be a standard project, we encourage, so we get craftspeople to work with them as well, but they then have to develop one of the things, whether it's a false ceiling or whatever it may be, a screen. They have to develop it to a point where it can be constructed. Then we work, or we try to attract the various, like Fab India, India Craft House, and all these other people. We invite them on the juries to see if they would like to pick up any of those products and then sell it. All they have to do is acknowledge the student. They don't have to pay any royalty. So I'm just simply sharing all this because I find, the last thing I want to say, I'm sorry I've taken up so much time, is that I have found that in interior architecture and architecture is where crafts, if it is really brought in properly and completely, has the biggest economic advantage for the craftsman. Because how many Natarajas can you buy just to help a craft person? But you do a building, you do an interior. Actually, there are more of interiors today than buildings because very few greenfield projects. Firstly, the interior is going to look different. That's your value addition. Secondly, you can involve any number of craftsmen who will be economically benefited and also help, like others have been saying, join schools of craft to carry on with it. So I just thought that, one should, this is what we have been thinking all along, and it seems to be working. We've done it for about 4 years so far. Let's see what happens.
I've been waiting for this. Actually, the first thing which I forgot to tell you is my institute where I belong to. So, because I think I was the first one to introduce myself, so I missed that. So I am teaching at Pearl Academy, and we also have installation put up of Manjifa craft. So, just in addition to the discussion which we are having, I think we are proposing things. We should do this, we should do that. But I think, in one of my research trip in Kutch, I found that Kutch is a very beautiful example of symbiotically, being there. Like, artisans are working together, designers are working together, and then we have, because it's close to NID, so there's a lot of, to and fro movement of students, artisans, and I could see that, it's beautifully coexisting. Like, and not only they have been able to maintain their, cultural heritage, they have been also been able to create their own identity. I was amazed to see that each artisan have their own, visiting card. They had the name, to their, this thing, and they could sell their product even if they don't know Hindi also, but they're able to sell their product. So I think, why can't we have more ecosystems like that? And even if we talk about, organizations like Shujan or Kala Raksha, they are helping the entire community to make products, but at the same time, they're also conserving their heritage. So I think that's what, we can learn, and, more institutes should collaborate, adopt a city or a place, and then, work together.
So that's a wonderful observation of Kutch. And I would say thanks to Judy Frater for all of that.
Absolutely.
And she has been working relentlessly with those people. And yes, even recently, even I was there at Kala Raksha, and I think that is a beautiful way to make people believe in themselves. The kind of prices they quote for their products, that's their confidence. So I think this is what we are all trying to do in our own little ways. And what's very, very important is that we can't just say that this is traditional, so we should just stick to it, but we need to make it contemporary and move on. And that's where Atmanirbhar Bharat Center for Design has done this amazing task of incubating all these artisans. Our students worked with Tumba Craft, and if you see the installations, you will see that they worked with a tree of life, the concept being, and all the crafts they've incorporated in that. The concept being that it is our roots that need to be strong, and all of us need to be together. And that's how we grow. So I think that's, again, a very, very beautiful thought. I would now come to you, Shahidji, to please talk about your views on the subject.
I will pick 2 points. One is the way our, panelist member, they discuss about interdisciplinary thought. And then second one is how we can bring this artist and craftsman in the academia system. So because to me, it is not going to be just a role of academia in terms of upliftment of the craft and craftsmen, but it is our responsibility. And we have to look at this as a task and challenge to how we can, because the thing is that nowadays what we are doing, we are nurturing the young mind and young designers and young entrepreneurs who are going to basically going to play a significant role in terms of upliftment of this whole cultural heritage and craft. So if you look at in our IIT system as well, maybe sir will share the similar thought. We are in a system where design is a very minority team. Okay, so every time we try to prove ourselves, because everyone talks about math, science, and all those. But this also gives us a lot of opportunities to influence people from different disciplines and make them aware about the design, and then make them come and collaborate with us. So you will see in IIT system, there is the department called mathematics, or maybe civil engineering, or maybe LA. Everyone is collaborating with the design faculty, and that opens up altogether a different kind of environment where we can collaborate and then create and then contribute. Second is in terms of our current curriculum. So I'm just taking this opportunity. I will say everything right now and then finish. So now what in the curriculum, what we have, it's a more mainly, academician driven, and the teachers and faculty driven. So can we also work out towards a curriculum where we can also have a craftsman as a part of the whole structure itself, where we just not as a faculty member teach them, but we will also have a contributor who is already practicing this craft. Though this practice is already there, we call this craftsman and then ask them to teach.
We have it at IICT, I must tell you.
True. So there are a few, but it is happening in bits and pieces. Can we involve and make this as a part of whole curriculum, immediately it will reflect back on the artisans and on their life, and then also on their craft, and hopefully it will survive and revive in the future. Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you. I think these are very valid points, and I'm happy to share that we are working on these. So, as you rightly said, collaboration is the future. We earlier also talked about collaboration. Collaboration is the future. Today, this is possible because everybody has collaborated. The idea came up from the government and Atmanirbhar Bharat Center for Design. I think the name is also so beautiful. And when you talk about maths and sciences, I think design incorporates everything. Without mathematics, you can't design. It's all geometry. And I think there's a lot of science. Like, you know, when you talk about wood, you just can't ask people to design something from wood till they do not know the inherent quality of that type of wood that will create that product. Similarly for textiles. So I think science is a very, very integral part of design. And design comes, even if you look at Bloom's taxonomy, I think it's at the top. When it comes, then you can create something. And that is what we are trying to do, to make them go through all those layers of understanding, recognition. And in that process, we invite artisans. Every week, you will see artisans at IICD actually taking classes, working with students, whether it's Tangalia Aviv artisan, or it's the, Ari Tari artisan, or Tarkashi, or stone craft. So we call them from across the country. And they come and they take lectures for not lectures actually, but they do workshops for an entire week with the students. And the output is amazing. I would love to invite you to come and see what they're doing. So I think that's a very, very valid point.
So in the context of design and in the context of craft, so let's look at it this way, right? About 800-900 years ago, we were what? We were hunters, gatherers, weavers, blacksmiths. हम लोग थे ना, हम लोग सब craftsmen तो थे. We were all farmers as well, and so on. So I think at some level we've lost that. We should find the artisans in all of us first. And to be able to find that, we also have to find a way to respect artisans and find a way to learn from them first before we try and intervene. And I say this with, as almost like an apology, because a lot of us as design people have done the helicopter job on artisan work, and which is not fair. And their due credit should have actually gone to them, and which is why I'm saying that design में कोई बड़ा छोटा नहीं, जैसे craft में कोई बड़ा छोटा नहीं होता. That's one. Two is that I think somewhere we need to find the pride in the work that we do, and that is something that if we give young people a sense of actually achieving something which is absolutely stunning and beautiful, I think that is a huge story to tell. And they carry the legacy of many hundreds of years of our tradition. So I think that would be a fun thing to actually take forward. And lastly, I've always felt that personally is that every school, not just a design school, but every secondary school should also look at their curriculum, not just, Because if you try and teach, like she talked about the tree, right? Tree के अंदर rheostat होता है, tree के अंदर light का influence होता है, tree में integration होता है, differentiation होता है, convergence, small होता है. If we can teach chemistry and physics through the idea of a tree, I think our students will be able to understand the relevance of design in the world around us. I think that will probably sort of make this a richer culture to sort of take life. Thank you.
Yeah, totally agree. If we start teaching them from what is around them, what they understand. Unfortunately, in villages, people read from those books A for apple. उस गांव में कभी एप्पल नहीं देखा होगा उन्होंने, लेकिन क्योंकि किताब में A for apple लिखा है, उनको वही पढ़ना है. थोड़ा डीकोलोनाइजेशन ऑफ द माइंड बहुत जरूरी है कि हम जहाँ थे, जो चीजें अच्छी थी उनको हम कैसे ले सकते हैं, और जो चीजें वेस्ट की अच्छी हैं या फार ईस्ट की अच्छी हैं उनको हम कैसे ले सकते हैं. And I think only with that open mind we can really grow.
When we do art, we have to understand that what kind of business it can create. And to take you just back what Sir was saying, all of us were kind of artisans at some point of time. Our forefathers, maybe farmers, that is also a craft. When we talk an example of a gun, maybe 150 years, gun making was also a craft. But then we started fighting wars, and then gun making became a mass production business. So we started making guns without looking into the craft, maybe without tailoring it to the needs of the soldier and just making it and then using it. But slowly now we are again coming to craft manufacturing, where it makes sense. It makes a business sense. Everyone wants, all of the panelists and all the audience, if we see the kind of clothes we are wearing, all are different. So all are different design, which means all of us appreciate variety. So when we appreciate variety, there are materials and processes which can help us to achieve that variety now. So therefore, it will make sense if we are able to integrate creativity with design, which can lead to innovation and which can lead to business. Because every activity has to lead to some kind of money making. I should be very blunt in saying that, coming from an engineering background. So it has to relate from the design thinking to money making. If we can integrate all these aspects into one ecosystem, I think we can become successful. Successful in reviving our craft. Second point that I want to make is that we are talking about interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary. At IIT system, we have very bright minds of the country studying at IIT. Then we have the Department of Management Studies, expertise in all branches of engineering, and now we have started Department of Design. So now we can nurture creativity, bring it to innovation, design and develop products, make business out of it, and then we have a tied center which can help entrepreneurs to grow and make business and make money out of this craft. So basically it has to, from craft, it has to lead to money. So if we can complete this overall value chain, I think our craft will easily be revived. So I think as departments or as institutes, we are trying to integrate all aspects of learning, and learning starting from creativity. And our students are here. We select very bright minds in the country for our design program. And I am very happy that I am from mechanical engineering. I don't have any formal training in craft and culture, but students who are also coming from engineering background or from design background are here exhibiting their product. And I think many of the connoisseurs of art who are here are appreciating their work also. So I'm thankful to the organizers for giving opportunity to IIT Roorkee for exhibiting their work here in this craft exhibition. Thank you very much.
I agree. We have the brightest minds at IIT. We have brightest minds at IIM, and it would be wonderful if they all become innovators. So that is what we are moving ahead now towards, Atmanirbharta, that people start creating jobs rather than looking at jobs. And I think when we work in the craft sector, the focus is how we can become job creators. In fact, I will. It's actually a fact that when I was talking to one of the directors of IIM, they said, "Madam, business हम सिखाते हैं, बच्चे आपके business करना चाहते हैं." तो problem यही है कि हमारे बच्चे बहुत दिल से काम करते हैं, नए-नए ideas लेके आते हैं, business करने का उतना sense नहीं है, पर business करना चाहते हैं. इसीलिए collaboration is the future. I think we need to really understand that how to make this into a business model and how to become Atmanirbhar. And I think that will be the true victory of the nation if our children or our students, and mind you, our youngsters today are very conscious people. Gen Z that you were talking about, they talk so much about sustainability and climate change, which I did not know when I was their age. We never spoke about climate change. We never spoke about sustainability. We never spoke about those issues. We spoke about design, beautiful things, living a good life. But these were not on our radar at that point in time when we were some 19, 20-year-old people. But today they're very conscious. They know about these things. And this is the right time when they are taught about these things in the right manner so that they can create jobs, they can become job creators, and they can look at people with empathy. कोई school empathy नहीं सिखा सकता जब तक वहाँ के faculty खुद में empathetic ना हो. जब तक आप मिलके ना काम करें कारीगरों के साथ और सब एक साथ ना काम करें, आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते. So I think this is beautiful to see so many colleges here together. And thanks to the government, thanks to IGNCA, thanks to Atmanirbhar Bharat. Supriya ji, a big round of applause for you. You've brought us all together and you've given the platform to artisans to stay here, to experiment. I kept coming and seeing what the students were doing. And then to bring out, to showcase it in such a non-sarkari manner, to make it so beautiful looking, so that everybody wants to come and see. And then this idea of installation, where people could come up with bright installations, put them across there. And to add to it food, the fact that Dr. Pant, Pushpesh Pant ji is here to add food as craft. You know, we work with a foreign university, Michigan State University, and they constantly say, why isn't food making a craft? Why don't you teach that? We look at momo makers, we look at golgappa makers, all of that is craft. And I totally agree that yes, we should incorporate and integrate all of this as a part of handcrafting practice. So thank you all. Thanks to all the panelists.